Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted as always, even though you've done 2 Zoom interviews with Cook and Cassius, Sam. It's all good. How are you, sir?
Cheated on you, yeah.
It does. It feels like you've cheated on me.
I know, but I never ever speak to Coogan anymore, so I thought, give him 10 minutes. Excuse me.
You're excused.
Yeah.
The fight week, we're here in Altrincham or Manchester Airport near there because we've got the debut of Pat Brown. Now, I've spoke to Pat from the time we were at 20 Stories when he signed Betty Hearn. I've spoke to him yesterday. I've never met, well, I probably have, but he's one of the few fighters that I've met that's so humble, speaks well. He's just a nice guy. He sold 2,000 tickets. He seems to be taking everything in his stride. You know him a little bit better than me. Is this just Pat Brown? He's just a nice guy, but he's ferocious in that ring.
Yeah, until you put a pair of gloves on him. Yeah, Pat is like, he's just very, when you get to know him, he's a lovely guy. He's just a lovely, down-to-earth, normal guy. Like he says, loves his family, loves his dog. Turn that off.
Loves his dog.
Loves his dog. And that he's just a down-to-earth guy, which is the reason why so many people love him and paying to watch him.
You've took a couple of guys straight out of the amateurs and signed them pro with you, Hamza Uddin, Cameron Vuong, and there's pressure in that when they're fighting on the undercard of big names. I mean, Pat Brown, you could probably argue that he's such a good Olympian, put him on a big show like a Eubank Ben type show on the undercard, but the fact that he's headlining on his debut, 2,000 tickets sold, what kind of pressure, if any, is he feeling right now?
I think, generally, if you meet him, there'll always be pressure there, but he just takes it in his stride. It's not going to make a blind bit of difference to Pat. Like, he sold, a lot of people used to go, like hundreds and hundreds of people. You watch his amateur fights, you always turn the volume up and you hear his barmy army there, because it's going to be a full of lunatics in there tomorrow night. The atmosphere will be incredible and it'll be a night to remember, but Pat will take it all in his stride and deal with the opponent stood in front of him.
I know you, when you try and hype somebody up, you're good at hyping your fighters up, and that's why fighters are glad that you're in their corner, but how far can this man go? Because you've been hyping him up quite...
To be honest, I don't really need to... Because you're going to see it. Like usually, for a normal prospect, it's the case of going on before the bell or something along those lines, like Cameron did, Hamza. Listen, the right people know what this guy's going to do in the professional ranks, and he's headlining on his debut. What he's gonna do to this Argentinian on Friday, Andrew, is what he's gonna do at championship level. Crack heads and cash checks.
That's a good saying, I like that. You know yourself. You're old enough to remember the Ricky Hatton days, the Anthony Crawler days here in Manchester.
That's my era. These are my era.
This is my era too. I'm a little bit older than you, Sam.
Are you? How old are you, Andy?
I'm 42.
Okay, yeah, you're a lot older.
Older than you. What are you?
No, I'm 37. The end of this year.
Right, so. No, we wouldn't have been in the same high school. I would have left high school before you joined. You were still in primary school. Yeah. Fuck that, man. I can't believe I'm that old compared to you. You look older.
I respectfully disagree with that.
That's fine. You want to take that call?
No.
You remember the Ricky Hatton days, the Anthony Crawler days. There's a gap now. There's a void to fill.
Yes.
Is that Pat Brown?
The thing is, when I say it, people go, it's just Sam hyping the fighters, but I'm telling you, the right people. Eddie got his wallet out with Pat Brown, right? With good reason. People say, he didn't medal in the Olympics. If you watch the fight...
split decision, right?
Yeah, it was a split decision, but if you watch the fight, Pat's never lost a last round of any fight he's been involved in an amateur. He warms up into fights. He is built and made for professional boxing. And he's going to have a stunning professional career, I promise you. And the people are going to come out and support him. The average man is going to love Pat Brown, especially because he represents those people, and they're going to come out in force to support him. Everyone's going to love Pat Brown, Andrew, I promise.
Yeah, well, listen, like I said to you, he's a nice, humble guy. He speaks well, and it sounds like, although you said put a pair of gloves on him, he's different, but he's not got a bad bone in his body, and I think fans appreciate that as well.
You'll see the bad bone on tomorrow night, but other than that, he's very personable, very approachable, lovely man. But like I say, he's got a dark side, Andrew. He's got a dark side. I promise you this. He's got a dark side where it's like, oof. Like even say you saw him on the settee yesterday talking. Like you think, I feel like getting up off the settee. Like he's ready to go. But he's a lovely guy with bags of respect for everyone.
Well, let's go to another fight that you're involved in, a fight that you've been involved in 3 times.
Oh,
You're probably sick of it as well. When I've got to say with Cameron Vuong yesterday when I spoke to him, Cameron's always been that happy, cheeky young kid.
Seen a different side of him.
100%. That's what I was going to say. There's a different side to him. He never smiled at me once. He was like, Andrew, I'm being serious right now. This was his words. If I lose to Jordan Flynn, you'll never see me again and I'll retire. And he was dead serious when he said it. There was no tongue in cheek. He was dead serious.
Do you know why he says this, Andrew? Right? I mean, I prefer he doesn't say stuff like that. But ultimately, Cameron puts so much pressure on himself. Like, if you ask Eddie, this is without me. I wasn't at the spar, but I've watched it on tape. He had a 50-50 spar with Shakur Stevenson, Andrew. Like if you ask Eddie, like I'm not saying it's he got the, but it was tit for tat against Shakur Stevenson, who's the best fighter in the world in that division, right? He's not on Shakur's level yet, right? He's not. He doesn't profess to be, but he wants to be. If you box with Cameron, you can compete with anybody. Cameron has to add elements of maturity and everything to his game inside and out the ring. He won't mind me saying this. This is the first time he's ever done the weight correctly. I mean, he's got Carl Evans on board. He's a very good nutritionist, but this is the first time Cameron has ever done it properly. Like, if you look at his fights, they've been like 137, 140. Cameron is a 135-pound fighter, and that is the division he's going to be campaigning at. And it's the best I've ever seen him. I'm not just saying it's the best I've ever seen him on fight week. Like, done the weight correctly. He looks great. He's usually like a bit of a wasp on fight week. Bundles of energy, spunks loads of energy up the wall in energy.
Pause a little bit.
Yeah, well, listen, and he does. He wastes a lot of energy. And this week, he's finally, like, we've seen, because we see what Cameron can do in the gym. Like, it's not, bear in mind, people can say whatever they want about me. Jamie Moore is a boxing man through and through, right? Through and through. Good boxing brain, tremendous trainer. So forget me to one side. Jamie Moore is involved with Cameron's matchmaking with me. We do it together, right? Jamie Moore wouldn't put Cameron in these fights if he didn't think he was capable of doing it. If he gets the mental side correctly, which is what I'm telling you, like there'll be, if Jordan Flynn managed to beat Cameron on Friday, there is not one single excuse we could make, because this is the best Cameron I've ever seen. I've known the kid for a long time now. This is the best I've ever seen him, and I honestly believe he's going to do an absolute job on Jordan Flynn on Friday, and he's going to show the levels that he can operate at. He's going to show the difference between a good fighter and the difference between a good fighter, a good, tough, strong fighter, to a world level, someone that's aiming to be at world level. He's not world level, so before anyone says, all right, he's not world level, I don't believe he's scratched the surface of what he can achieve in boxing. I know what I'm trying to say, but someone who wants to get to that level. Because I said to Cameron, what would 22-year-old Shakur Stevenson do to Jordan Flynn? That's me being honest. And I like Jordan. Me and Jordan get on great. But what would a 22-year-old Shakur Stevenson do, or a 21-year-old Shakur Stevenson do with Jordan Flynn, or Keyshawn Davis, the kids in your weight? What would they do? You have to get out there and do the same thing. That's why he puts that. So, a long-winded response to what you said about him retiring. That's because of the pressure he puts on himself. That is the pressure Cameron puts on himself. He wants to be mixing at the world level. And that's just Cameron's aspirations. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. It's yet to be seen. But all I'll say to people that are watching that are judging Cameron, or Gavin Gwen, that was a close fight, Gavin should have won. But ultimately, I've watched that fight back. I believe Cameron won the fight. You see, I'm honest with fighters. Like my own fighters, if I think they've lost, or if I think it's close, I'll say it. But give him the respect. Look at his CV that he's boxed. Jeff Ofori is a nightmare, by the way. If you watch Jeff Ofori's fights, half of those losses on his record, they're all wins. He's been mugged off and robbed many a times. Give Cameron, even Joe Hughes, who he boxed, like, you look at Cameron's young record. Is this his 8th fight, Cameron? I think it's his 8th fight. Undefeated fighter. Last one, Gavin Gwen, Joe Hughes, Jeff Afori. Even Mosquera, who is now competing. He boxed... Who's the talented Scottish kid that's turned... Sam Hickey.
Sam Hickey.
Middleweight. Is he a middleweight or 154? Middleweight. He boxed Mosquera, right? Who Cameron boxed in his second fight in Newcastle. But if you just look at Cameron's record, give Cameron the respect he deserves on what he's trying to achieve. Just give him respect. You don't even have to like him. You don't have to like his style of boxing. But give him the respect of what he's trying to do, because there is no prospect. I don't consider Cameron a prospect anymore, but there is no prospect in the country doing what he's doing. Under the lights, under the pressure, big promotional company backing him, Edian behind him, even myself. Give Cameron Vuong the respect, and I know Jordan respects him because of what he's done. Because Cameron's got a better CV than Jordan Flynn, and Jordan's 28, 29 years old. Cameron's still a baby. But like I say, and I mean this when I say this, I get on with Jordan. Me and Jordan, I'm really cool with Jordan. But Cameron's my fighter, and I want Cameron to do a number on him. But as I say, I respect Jordan, respect him for taking the fight. He sold a lot of tickets, Jordan. And people are picking Jordan to win the fight. But I am so confident Cameron's going to win the fight. So confident. I'm so confident in him, especially after how I've seen him all week. His attitude towards making weight, because it's always the problem. You know, it's like, you was a boxer, like, it's always the shit part for a fighter. For a fight week, you're like, making weight, and Cameron's never done it properly before. That's his own fault, immaturity. But he's shown signs of what we've all know he's capable of, maturity. We believe that will reflect on his performance on Friday, and we think, I'm certain now, and I can say this safely, I think you're going to see a career best performance. In his young career, you're going to see the best performance of his career on Friday.
Sam, I can't wait for it. I mean, like I said, it's been 3...
I know I lingered on a little bit.
But you answered 3 of my questions anyway,
but
so...
I wanted to go through it because I just want people to understand that if Cameron boxed 10 German, look what he did on his debut. Unbelievable performance. Could fight 10 more of them. But what do you learn? What do you learn? Give Cameron a bit of respect. That's all I'm going to say. Like him or loathe him. Just give him some respect.
100%, mate. And like I said, you did go off on one, but you answered a couple of my questions I was going to ask anyway, so thank you. So we're just going to jump straight into Conor Tudsbury. Another hard hitter. Another one from Jamie Moore. Another one of your fighters. Light heavyweight, but he looks like a cruiserweight, let's be honest.
Yeah, Conran? I'm trying to say Conor and Cameron all in one. Conor, like, he's carved out of stone, isn't he, Conor? But even his fight, he's fighting Robbie Conor. Like, it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight for Conor Tudsbury in his second professional fight. He's actually boxed him in the amateurs. So when people say, "Oh yeah," this is not a silly fight. It's not a silly fight. It's a really good card, by the way. Even Will Crawler, like the guy he's fighting, absolute handful. I don't manage Will Crawler, by the way, but I'm saying if Will Crawler don't get him out early, that's going to be a fight. Really, it's a good card on Saturday. But yeah, I'll move on to, I was going to say, start moving on through the card to Mark Dickinson. But no, Conor Tudsbury, don't blink with him, because if he hits anybody on the chops, they are in a world of trouble. Because lethal puncher with both hands. So yeah, Conor Tudsbury's going to be in some exciting fights. Especially in
that light heavyweight division, which is just it's a nice division to be in right now.
Great division.
You touched on Mark Dickinson there.
Yeah.
Title fight, good. All it's a great scrap as well for Mark Dickinson as well, coming off that loss in Japan, which is obviously similar to like Cameron Vuong. It's something that he didn't need to do so early on in his career.
Yeah.
But he did it, and he can use that as the experience to take him into this fight.
Listen, Mark did that strictly because the tournament didn't end up being completed, which was pretty sad, to be honest with you, because Mark entered in the tournament knowing, listen, there's a prize money of £1 million, like, you can't not. But Mark learned a lot in that fight, cracked his rib in the second round, showed the bollocks to finish the fight, and a lot of people had Mark winning. I thought it was very close. I thought the Japanese fella did deserve to win in the end, but it was very, very close, that fight. The score didn't reflect how close the fight was. But Mark again, he baby when he was there. This fight though is a must-win fight for Mark now, because he's come back. He dusted the cobwebs off in December, but now this is an English title fight against a very game opponent, Reece Farnhill. But if Mark wants to compete at world level, like what he says he wants to do, you've got to be winning these types of fights. That's not pressure. That's just the harsh reality of boxing. If you want it, Mark's 25 years old. He's a man now, right? Got a baby on the way. He's a man. Got to be winning these types of fights, and I believe he will. I think he's going to look really good. I think that fight is the potential barn burner of the night, but Mark's got to use his brains and his amateur pedigree, and I believe Mark will win the fight, but I don't think it will be easy. I think Reece Farnhill, it's his biggest night of his career by a mile. He's on the big stage for the first time in his career, and he's not a mug. I've looked at him. He's very confident. He's a really nice fella, by the way. But I'm confident in Mark doing a job on him and becoming the new English champion.
Great card. I'm looking forward to it. Like when you just rattle off, and obviously we've got
a little
well.
Bit of criticism. Like, are you crazy? Like, actually,
it's the next gen.
If you actually dive into the card and dissect the card, I promise you, there's some crackers on that card. There really 100%. Is some crackers on that card. So don't moan. Just tune in and watch it.
Definitely. Now, away from the card, a couple of questions I want to ask you about. Now, you spoke about the Johnny Fisher and the Dave Allen first fight and your thoughts on it, and now the rematch is happening. But I just want to go to a TalkSport interview with Eddie and Johnny, where you know about the first fight and the scorecard, but they seem to be on the 6th round. You've watched the fight back. That was the pivotal round, and they said that was the round where was the pivotal round in terms of it swung at the fight to Johnny.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on all that?
I thought I've said it 20 times. Love Johnny to pieces. He's my friend, good mate. I don't believe he won the fight. That's just me being honest. I don't believe he won the fight. I think if you say, it's a hard one, because look, that night for me was a weird night for me, because Jamie Moore's my really good friend in boxing, Nigel, get on really well with Dave Allen, but ultimately Johnny, very close to Johnny, but yeah, your phone's going off.
That's my phone going off.
The way I thought on the night, this is me being honest, I watched it and I thought, we could nick this. When the bell went, I thought we could nick this. But when you kind of calculate the rounds, it was easy to score. Because I wasn't counting the rounds, I was too involved in the fight. I was too emotionally invested into the fight. Where I was thinking, I was just happy Johnny ended up the fight on his feet. But when the bell went, I was thinking, I could nick this. But when you can't calculate the rounds, I scored the fight. I've watched the fight 3 times now, right? Johnny won the first 4 rounds, comfortable, easy to score. 5th round, we all know what happened. 10-8 round. 6th round, I had a Dave Allen winning that round. 7, 8, 9, I had Dave Allen winning those rounds, clear as day. 10th round, I gave it to Johnny, the 10th round. But people could still give that round to Dave Allen. But the fight wasn't like... That's why Jamie Moore wasn't saying, robbery, because you can't call a fight that's won by a point... you can't call it a robbery. You just can't. But because the fight was easy to score, that was the outcry after the fight. And look, people weren't happy with me saying that Johnny... I believe Johnny lost the fight, but I'm just being true to myself. But listen, loads of love for Johnny, loads of love for the Fishers. That will always continue. I always wish Johnny the absolute best. He's my guy. I've turned him professional. But for me, Dave Allen won the fight. And
again on May 17th.
Yeah, and May 17th. Look, Johnny deserves massive credit. Johnny could easily go to the Copper Box, fight a dud, sell 2,000-3,000 tickets, get on with his life. But Johnny's a man. He's a man. He's a proud man, right? With full of pride, full of balls and guts. The first thing that's the Johnny I know. Like, let's run it back, and it's a great fight. There's huge pressure on Johnny going into that fight because of the controversy of the first one, but that'll rev Johnny up. The crowd, I believe, will play a big part in it because it's a cauldron for Johnny. He's used to boxing under those circumstances. Dave will have confidence. I know Dave will have confidence from the back of it. Yeah, I'm looking forward. It's a great fight. It really is a great fight. No matter what you believe of the level of that fight, everyone's going to tune in to watch it because the first one was a cracker. And under the circumstances of the fact that it's going to be a sold-out arena, the atmosphere is going to be blow the roof off job. So, yeah, it's a brilliant fight. I cannot wait to watch it.
Another one that I want to get your thoughts on quickly. Does Usyk versus Daniel Dubois sell out Wembley?
No, I don't believe so.
Does Usyk Daniel Dubois with Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker sell out Wembley?
Yes.
Can you see that happening?
No.
Nope.
No.
Can you see, obviously, with Usyk and Dubois, that seems like that's the fight they're going to go for. That's the immediate rematch. That's what kind of the controversy of the first fight.
I would prefer Joe Parker getting the fight with
I think
Usyk.
so. But and you know yourself, being in the business of boxing, you're in the business of boxing.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I think.
No.
I think so. With that being said, with the WBO ordering that, will that become vacant? Similar to how Daniel Dubois won the IBF, they'll make Parker the WBO world champion. And do you think that they'll give him Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, because Anthony Joshua is still the biggest name in the heavyweight division. Like, he is commercially. I know people don't like hearing that, but he is. Joshua's still that guy. He's still I could fight him and make the most money. Anthony Joshua can pick and choose who he wants to fight because he's the biggest draw. I know people don't. It's hard for people to process, but Anthony Joshua does the biggest numbers, draws the biggest crowds, has the biggest name. He's the biggest name in the heavyweight division. Not saying he's the best before all these idiots say, bah. He's the biggest name in the heavyweight division. Fury's retired. He's the biggest name in the heavyweight division.
But that scenario, can you see that happening?
Yeah, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, listen, I look forward to whoever Usyk fights. I think we have to enjoy Usyk while he's here because I don't think he's going to have long left in the sport. I mean, I actually met Usyk properly for the first time. I've met him, to shake hands with, but I've never sat and had a conversation with him. And I was there with Alex Krasuk and Aegis at the Ring Magazine Awards. And I actually told Usyk, I really apologise because I've picked you to lose, I think, 3 times in your... No, wait a minute. 5 times I've picked against Usyk. I picked Gassiev to beat him. I picked Joshua to beat him twice. I picked Fury to beat him twice. 5 times I've picked Usyk to lose. What a disgrace.
You're not doing it again, are you?
Never. I told him, never ever. I don't care who you fight. I will never back against you ever again. I apologise. All-time great. Could thrive in any era of professional boxing. But yeah, sorry Usyk for picking against you for so many times. It will never happen again. And yeah, my bad.
Sam Jones, thank you so much. The weigh-in is happening in half an hour, so let's get going. The midnight weigh-in, the nighttime weigh-in. Sam, don't break my stuff, man. Come on now. Cheers, my man. Thank you.